I've got no audio on. Right, I'll start again, folks. We had a little audio issue there. I can see you laughing, Paula. Yeah. Right, welcome to tonight's Truth Proof live stream. This is a live stream event, and there's plenty of you in the chat tonight. So welcome everybody. I've got to go through a few names here. Mark Egan's in the room tonight. Andy Ramsden. Skyflower is doing our moderating tonight. Welcome to the show, Skyflower, and thanks for doing the moderating. We've got, let's have a look. We've got Alison Buttles in the room tonight. Chaos, Stargazer Eternal. Welcome to the show, Alison. I've said Alison Buttle. Anthony Hudson, Michael Adams, Paranormal Investigator, Richard on Solent, Lee Roscoe. Welcome to the show, Lee. And I think I've probably left somebody out. Tino's in the room. Twitchy Curtains is in the room. Thanks for joining us tonight. I've got a great show, as you see by the banner. I've just got to clear one thing up. People have been finding it difficult to actually get to the live stream from the Facebook page. Now, Facebook have changed all the rules this week. Yeah, thanks, Facebook. And if you go to the advert, what's on the Truth Proof page, click on that link, and that'll take you to the Truth Proof live stream link page. And then at the top right, there's a blue icon what says join event. That will bring you to the YouTube live stream itself. So they have changed it, and that's where you'll find it. So I hope that clears that up. Right then, so much gassing from me, I can see. So I'll just play the intro and we're off. Hey, there we are, we're back. Right, I'll hand you over now to Paul. Welcome to tonight's show, Paul.
Les, we're back again, another day, quite a hot one, so hope everybody's got the windows open. And yeah, tonight we're going to be talking to Paula Elisabeth Green. I've known Paula quite a few years now, and pretty straight talking, a lot of experiences in the unexplained, paranormal, alien related happenings that have occurred in her life. So Paula, welcome to Truth Proof.
Hi Paul, hi Liz, and hi everybody.
Yeah, well, you know, we should have done this a few weeks ago. One thing and another, it's just get rolling back. But well, tonight, you know, 2 hours, if we can get that far, I'm sure we will. And you just start where you want, Paula. I suggest we start early. Let's go to some of the earliest experiences that you can recall, and you just roll from there.
Okay. I was 4-year-old when my experiences first started. That's all I've ever known, because I was so young. I thought it was just normal. Everybody got a normal thing. So I didn't know any different until I found out from other people, you know, that I've questioned, thought, how come you don't see these little greys? How come birds don't talk to you? You know, stuff like that. Yeah, the first experience, I was 4-year-old, and that was with a blackbird. I wasn't going to talk about this, but
we're doing it.
Because I was so young, and a few people will know it anyway. But for those who don't, there was a blackbird that I used to go to nursery, a 4-year-old, and it was in the morning. So my mum would pick me up dinner time-ish, get me dinner, and I'd go outside and I'd sit on the midden top, which was basically outside toilet. So it was the stone slab of the outside toilet. The toilet was no longer there, but the midden top was. And I'd be there all the time through summer months. So, you know, get a stone, I'd be scratching my name, you know, and looking round. And then this particular time, don't ask me about days or out like that or how long it went on for, because I'm a 4-year-old, you know. I just remember it being stood out. And there was this, I looked up at the roof opposite, which is the backs of the rows of shops, and I spot this blackbird. I'm not sure whether it is a blackbird. I'm just saying it's a colour. It's large, and it had a orangey, reddish beak that stood out. And all I remember then is it's come down and sit next to me on this middling top and watch everything that I'm doing. And my mum, to keep my eye on me, had sit in the kitchen. So, you know, she keep bobbing her head up or coming at the door and see if, you know, I'm all right and this, that, and other. And this bird would sit there with me like it were tame. And then it's then, I don't know how long after, it could have been that day, it could have been a day later, it could have been a week later. I remember it then starting to talk to me. I don't mean, you know, verbally like that. It's telepathic.
Communication, yeah.
Yeah, but it don't go through my ears. It's like, imagine a core, you know, the center of the core of the brain, and so to me it were normal. So it asked me questions like, you know, do you like your family? Did you like going to school today? And you know, what food do you like? I mean, simple little questions that a 4-year-old would understand anyway, but it was the way that it said it was simplified anyway. So as we would say, do you like your family? It was like a shortened version, but I totally understood what it meant.
Yeah.
Like a compact version of a different language, which is telepathic. And totally understood. And I'd either answer verbally or telepathically, or a mixture of both. So this went on, and it asked me over various amounts of times, not that one day, but it did keep coming back. Could have missed 2 days, could have been 2 days later, it could have been a week later, I don't know. And it kept coming back from the roof opposite, sit down next to me, but it asked me the same questions, but in different format. So it were like as if somebody were trying to catch me out. So it's still a bit the same. Do you like your family? Do you like going to school? What did you eat today? Da, da, da. You know, and it just went on like that. And so I'd either answer it verbally, telepathically, a mixture of both. And then it went from that. It just, sometimes it would just sit there and watch me drawing. Wouldn't say out, fly off. And then my mum, one particular time, my mum came at door, and she's heard me talking, so she's automatically thought there's somebody at the other side of the wall. Am I going to get kidnapped? Oh, you know what I mean? So, but I think she's only getting a few words. So when I'm talking to this bird, the way that I'm speaking away, it's probably only little bits of words that's coming out because it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
And she said, Paula, who are you talking to? And I didn't know at the time. I don't even recall what I'd called it, and I called it, and I said to my mum, Inca. So I don't remember that. Now, if I go forward 40 odd years, Sasha had come to my house, and I've never ever told my mum about all the stuff that had taken place throughout my life, and because I thought she's going to think I'm crazy, you know what I mean? This doesn't seem to happen to anybody else. We only had libraries. We didn't have Google or out like that, you know. So I didn't know anybody else that were going through what I was going through. And Sasha had come to my house, and basically I said, oh, you know, I don't tell my mum out. Anyway, my mum had come over to mine. I don't know who started the conversation, whether it was Sasha or my mum. That's because I said, oh, you know, we're talking about paranormal stuff. And my mum's ears kind of pricked up, and I thought she was never interested in this. So that's why I never talked about it as well. So ears pricked up. And she says, do you remember that bird that you used to talk to? You called it Inca. And Sasha was, I mean, my mum's not alive to verify this, but Sasha is. You know what I mean? And I never knew to this day that I called that bird Inca.
No, and you know, when you were having these really early experiences,
Yeah.
I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't even know that they were different, did you? You know?
No, because to me it was just normal. I just because I was so young, it was just part and parcel of being alive.
Yeah.
You know, as human. You know what I mean? I just.
Did you share it with any school friends?
I did at my upper school. With one of my friends, but it was very vague what I said. I just basically said, "Do you believe in UFOs and aliens?" I didn't know that they called them greys. I didn't know. So it was basically, I knew UFOs because I'd read clippings in little papers. It's like, I'm like 14, 15 at this point. Well, I can't be only one then if people are seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was only very vague that.
I wonder. I mean, there must be out there, and there'll be a lot of memories that people just forget, I suppose. But I wonder how many people have experienced similar to what you experienced. Not necessarily the bird, but
but
the bird and interaction, and then but not even realised it weren't anything but normal. Yeah.
But then it's like come down one day, this bird. So it's the final bit. I mean, this could have gone on just weeks. It could have gone on 6 months. I've no idea. I know it was summer months when it happened. And the final time that I saw this bird, it was on the roof. It come and sat next to me. It's looking at everything that I'm doing. So I'm writing my name, and it's whether it's, like birds unusually, but it had human mannerisms, so it'd be slow flowing and it'd look up at me and then look down at, whereas birds normally use the side of, so they go like that, don't they, if they're looking that way. But it didn't. It was looking up at me, and you know what I mean? Yeah. And then it just sat there one day. I don't know how long it was sat there for, as long as I were on my dinner, I don't know. But it just watched for, it seemed ages, watched me drawing on wall and drawing little flowers and stuff. And then it telepathically spoke and basically said, I won't be coming back. And I burst out crying. And I will come back, but it will. So it's kind of changed its tone to make me feel better. I never saw it again. You know what I mean? But I was still very upset because it was like losing a pet. You know what I mean?
Do you sometimes think that you will? Or not necessarily anything in that form, but you might get some kind of message that says that's that thing from childhood.
It's the greys part of it. I've always wondered that. Was that the start of it? Was that it? So I wouldn't be shocked or frightened. Was it, were it a bird? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know the answer to it. But yeah, I think it is. It was the start of it, and it is connected.
Yeah.
As to seeing that bird again, I don't think so, unless it's come back in a different form. You know what I mean?
It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it's no less crazy than anybody who sees anything or experiences anything paranormal, because you're going to get your people saying, "No, that can't be." I've written Night People, and I've got an account in there from myself in 1970 of rabbits and guinea pigs.
Yeah.
And you talk about that, and if somebody told it me, I'd be thinking to myself, no.
Well, I don't believe myself sometimes. I mean, it's been going on since I was 4, and sometimes I sit there and I think, did that really happen? Did that really? You know what I mean? But then I've got people who can verify it. I've got Sasha and other ones that were involved with me, when I've had 4 hours missing time. And
but at the end of the day, it's your truth, and you're being true to yourself. And I don't think your job. This is brilliant, relaying these experiences, but your job isn't to prove to anybody, because if they don't believe you, that's their problem.
That's their problem. Yeah, I mean, I've not to gain from this. I'm just putting out there my truth and help others to think, well, it's okay. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you do feel like you're the only one. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, I
only
haven't.
over time that you realise.
I simply hadn't a clue what were happening. That's why it was interesting when you said you thought it were normal. I thought that what happened to me in childhood were normal.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I don't know why I never spoke about it. I spoke about it to one person, a boy called Adrian Kirby. He remembers.
But why, you know, why would I speak about a bird at 4-year-old? It's like, because it's normal. It's like going to a shop. You know what I mean? You're not going to go around, right? Well, you'll never guess what. I went to shop. That's it. You know what I mean? So it'll be only the same thing. You know what I mean?
So where did it move? Where did it move from there, Paula?
6-year-old then. So 2 years later was the first time that I saw Grey. So yeah, it's.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about how that came about? We're talking about it.
Yeah. I was in my front room. I wasn't in this house. It's at the same street, but I'm over the road, other side of the street. And my mum were in the kitchen. She spent a lot of time in the kitchen because she's sitting in front of the washer going, watching it go around. And she put telly on for me. And we had a dog called Golden Labrador called Candy. And I remember this particular night. It was dark outside, but I still think it were about October-ish. It couldn't have been any. The weather and everything says it all. You know what I mean? Even though I'm 6, I've still got it up there as to what the weather could be like, you know. And the curtains were open, probably like that, you know what I mean? Because she's like, I hate shutting curtains, feel like claustrophobic. So, but it wasn't late, because if it had been late, I'd have been in bed, you know. So I think I might have been in bed at about 8 o'clock-ish. So coming home from school, and then I think it's between 6 and half 7 myself. Okay. You know what I mean, when it happened. But I could be totally wrong, but the way that it plays out in my head, it's like that. And then I was tormenting dog. I've got the telly on. I'm supposed to be sat there watching it, or bored at me, because I've never been to television. I haven't even had the TV for 15 years. It's crap. So anyway, Candy calls, and I don't know why. And I said to her, I stood by the window, so I'm leaning where the window is here, and I'm leaning on the wall next to it. So window's right there, you know what I mean? And I went, Candy, there's a pig at the window. And I'm like, Candy, there's a pig at window. I don't even know why I said that. You know, it's not like, you know, somebody's at the window. You know, it was a pig at the window. So anyway, she comes bounding in from kitchen, and she put a paws on the windowsill, and she nose up to the window like that. So I'm stood at the side of her watching that. I mean, fits of giggles at this. So, and then you can see breath on pane of glass. I remember that. And then she'd be like, right, disappointed, you know, and get down and run off back into the kitchen. So after a few times, I'd continue with this, you know what I mean? You know, tell her, but she found it again. So she knew I was going to do it, you know, so she go back. And then it was like maybe 4th, 5th time that I've gone, the final time. Now, I'd have thought my mum would have said, right, knock it off, tormenting dog, Paula. You know what I mean? Because I'm really making a racket. I'm loud anyway. So, you know, at 6-year-old, I'm going to be, even with a high-pitched voice, even louder. So anyway, Candy comes bounding in front kitchen again. Paws on windowsill like this. And then it's when she started going back, and she's all the time watching the pane of glass, really slow, not taking her eyes off what's outside. You know what I mean? And then she goes down, and she's going down really slow. She's like that, looking up, looking over, and then, oh wow, I'm stood right next to a pane of glass, and starts walking backwards. And now this, I didn't know what these little growls are meant. Do you get what I mean? Because Candy was so placid, she didn't need to growl. She didn't, and her hackles went up on her back. I thought, why is the first stuck up at back? Why is she making that? It was like, but it were really quiet. And then it'd be a bit of a whimper and then I can't remember now whether, I know she spun round really fast, but I can't remember whether she's walked slowly into the kitchen or fast. Do you know what? I just can't remember that bit. So then I thought, what's she saying out of that window? You know? So I'm looking like that, right? So I'm paying, you know, like dog, looking out. And I couldn't see out except darkness because the big light were on. So I'm just getting a reflection of what's in the room.
Yeah.
And me, do you get what I mean? So then I thought, so I'm seeing like windows lit up and curtains drawn and stuff. So I thought, oh, you know, I've seen my mum cup her hands up when she's nosing out a window. So it's like how it goes like that. It's then that my eyes have adjusted and blocked that light out from room that I see these two big black eyes looking right at me. And I've kind of, and it's only taken me seconds, I know it has, but the size of the head, you know what I mean? And I remember seeing two little holes, but I think it's the eyes and there that we're focusing on more. You know what I mean? And I think I might have screamed out, at least I've gone like this, you know, and jumped back. You know what I mean? All the while keeping, but because my eyes now are still adjusted, because I hadn't taken my eyes off it, it's gone back also. So from the window pane to the wall is about a meter. So there's like a little
Which way?
Yeah. And so it's about a meter and it's only about 3 foot, no, 2.5, 3 foot high is this wall. So I'm still focusing on this because my eyes have already adjusted now, so I can see, and it's gone back. But the way that it's gone back, it's making that like you say, you're running forward and you're making that motion, but it's like as if it's doing it backwards, making the motion, and it's glided over the wall, so, but still making that motion. But I know it's glided because when you land on something or when you run, you go up and down like that, don't you? That motion. With this, it didn't, even though it's made that motion. When it's landed at the other side, there's no landing. No. It's kind of got smooth down, you know.
And how tall?
What?
How tall do you think it was? What compared to, because she's looking.
Well, when it's because when you go into the house, you've got 2 steps. Remember, I'm 6 years old. My window it's pretty low down anyway, so it probably goes to there on windowsill, does me. So it gives me that.
Yeah.
And it was about the same size as me. That is looking at it from my perspective. But if you go on the outside, it's about a meter difference between the step where you go in and the path.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Outside window. So it looks like it's same size to me. But as it got older, I kind of compared it all. So it was probably pretty tall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not the 6-year-old tall, you know.
No, yeah,
not been as big as my mum. You know what I mean?
So
over 5 foot. That's how I can.
Was that the first time then you'd seen what you'd call a grey?
A grey, yeah, but I didn't know. I just thought it was some like creature, you know, like some creature that I'd never seen, and they hadn't showed it in any encyclopedia or out like that. You know, these kids' animal books.
Did you tell anybody?
No, not at all. No. And then, so it's got to the other side of this wall, and it's turned to its side, and it's this is when I've noticed it's wearing a blue, really dark blue. I know it ain't black, but like I said, my eyes have adjusted, but then we have orange street lights. But with the light in my room, I could see it was navy blue, and it had a wide round neck, and this tight fitting, and the sleeves finished there, and it's lent right over, like I can't even do it in this kind of motion ready to run, but it said stayed right up and up while it's staring at me, and I could see that it where the bottom, I couldn't see below the knee, but I could see that the shorts kind of finished at the knee, not shorts, but the one piece suit finished at the knee or just above the knee, and it started running, but it's not running, it's gliding, but making the running motion all the while, staring at me. So I'm kind of like at the window, watching it go up the street, and it's like as if it said, can spin all the way around. You know what I mean? And then it's like, boom, it's out of sight. I can hear telly again. I can hear washing machine going. Dog's still in kitchen, it won't come out. But it's like as if all that time was just silence. Now, whether it was silence because I'm focusing on it, or whether it is silent, I don't know, but I've gone like that and shut the curtains. But with me being 6 years old, I'm only small, so it's not like I can fully shut the curtains. I can only do it like that. Do you get what I mean? And then I won't go to the window for ages after that. But no, I never told anyone. But I just thought, my mum's going to tell me off. Again, because I've, you know what I mean, shutting curtains, or, you know, making racket bites, screaming when I've jumped back, or, you know.
Well, you definitely suddenly became aware of all sounds again.
Yeah. But so, at the time, I wasn't aware that there was no sound. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as it's out of sight, it was like, I was totally unaware there's no sound, but as soon as it's out of sight, then it sound come back. If I'd have known there were no sound, do you get what I mean? It's just
honestly, it's hard to explain, Paul, and I can see frustration on your face, and I don't think I can explain it any better. But it's almost like you're in them situations. As a little boy, if anything happened, after it had happened, something might not happen again for a week, 6 months, a year. But every night, I were expecting it to happen.
Yeah.
I wanted to happen, but I were expecting it to happen.
And then when you're not expecting it, it does.
It's almost, even when you're expecting it, it's almost like you're involved in it before you realise you're involved in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's happening.
No build up to it. It's just there.
You just and you've no control over it, and it's frustrating.
A lot of people get like a ringing in the ears. Now, I used to get that when I was younger, but not anymore. As I got older, the ringing went, so it's like it just instantly happens. Do you get what I mean? There's no.
So where did it progress from there, Paula?
Right. So
how did it? How?
In what way?
Well, you've covered the story of the communication with the bird.
So that's the telepathic side. Yeah.
Seeing the grey.
Yes, grey. Yeah.
What happened then?
My first then is my UFO. So I never really saw the two together. The UFO that I first saw when I was 12 years old. And that was in a place called Woodside, Judy Woods. It's like a wood. It's like 3 miles away, but it's like the woodland is like split into 4. So even though I say everybody in Bradford knows it as Judy Woods, it could have been the Jagger Woods side, it could have been the Judy Woods side, or 2 others, which I can't remember the name.
Woodland that's split into 4 sections,
Yeah, but we all know it as Judy Woods. Everybody says Judy Woods, even though it's split into 4. But because it's a boundary thing. But that were like, I'm sure that might have been Octoberish as well. And I'd met up with my friend, and she'd said, you know, we thought we were going to meet, well, I thought we were going to meet, they're kind of a bit older than me, you know what I mean? I was one at youngest. And we just thought, well, I just thought, oh, we're going to go meet as friends at bus stop again or outside bus shelter, or you know what I mean? But no, she's, I met up with her and basically she said, oh, I said, what we're doing tonight? Because I was just expecting the same answer, you know, we're going to meet whoever and whoever. And she just said, oh, we're going to go to Woods. Well, only Woodland I knew at 12 years old was the park.
Yeah.
Lovett Road from here. And there's like a little coppice right next to Woods.
Suddenly
you get what I mean?
into this environment where somebody's going to take you to some real woods.
Yeah. And that's the only woods that I knew over Road. So when we started off in opposite direction, I don't remember whether I said to her, where we going? I probably will have. I thought woods were that way, not that way. I will have said it, but I don't remember saying it, you know. So we set off. I think it was about half past 6, 6:15. And so we set off. I've tried looking for the path, but there's houses being built on it. And you know what I mean? I'm not going to go in middle bit because there's no point, because we're just probably talking about lads and, you know, boy bands and stuff anyway, something boring, you know what I mean? So all I remember then is we're walking down this path coming off the council estate, and there's an high fence at each side of us. You know, it were one of them sort of fences that if you really needed to look over, you'd have to kind of jump up and go like that. So, but I could still see in the distance, you know, probably a few yards that I could see, like bathroom windows lit up and bedroom windows. So that's how it is, you know.
Yeah.
And there was enough space for me and my friend. As we're going further down, the houses started kind of not being there, but then we've got trees overlapping. Now, I remember it moonbeam now, don't know whether it was full, you know, whatever, but it
bright.
It was seeable on the floor, even though we were trying hard, you know what I mean? But we could see to get down. And I remember leaves being on floor. So you know, there was a lot on the trees, but there were also quite a few on the floor. So that makes me think autumn and October, you know what I mean? So as we're getting lower down Snicket, it starts getting narrower. So it's like, I don't know whether she's in front of me or I'm behind her. It's irrelevant, that bit, but then it starts opening up then. It seemed quite, it was a short walk looking at it now, but a 12-year-old, it seemed quite long, you know what I mean?
Were you frightened?
No.
No.
Not at that point. No, not at that point, because I just like, where the hell are we going? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, go on.
So it opens up then. But I could hear lapping of water. And I thought it were right in front of me. You know, it won't, because I'm still trying to focus on me trying to walk and not in any mud or, you know what I mean? And I kind of come to a standstill. But I thought, hang on, no, and so I'm trying to look, no, water in there. So it's then that I noticed that the moon was giving off the ripples of the water I could see. I thought, oh, I could take a few more steps to get to edge of this water. You know what I mean? So I took a few more steps, and then my eyes then are more adjusted at this point. So I could see these trees all the way around. But yet over that side, probably about a 12-year-old, a mile looks like 500 mile, you know what I mean? Now I'm older, it was probably only less than a quarter of a mile that I could see, like, the street lights. So they were only tiny. So it was at a distance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tiny little lights and a house light here and there. But then, you know, I'm stood there, my mate, she's at that side of me. And we're kind of looking, and I don't know whether we were talking or what, I don't know, but I'm just focusing on this. It's then that I noticed that every so often there'd be a break in these lights. So something that's blocking, every so often something's blocking the lights, and then you can see the lights again. And it's blocking the lights and you see the light. So something's turning, obviously. But I didn't think it. I was just focusing on lights, thinking, maybe in my mind I'm thinking trees blowing, that there were no wind, you know what I mean? 12-year-old. So it's then that I notice I'm kind of, hang on, there's something in front of me here. It's then that I notice this, like, it's got to have been about 30 foot. 30 foot that way upright. And it's turning like this. And it looks like a boomerang with an extra arm. So it's kind of like that. No noise whatsoever. None. Now I'm hearing, it's that quiet. I can, now and again, I can hear my heartbeat. You know, you're that kind of, does that bit of, I can hear it.
So once again, this silence.
Yeah, but I never noticed if it was silent before. It's just, I don't know, but it's that silence that, and then I say it's now, as I'm getting older, it's the light thing. There's a green light. Now there's a blue light, and I just cannot get that one that's there. I can't get it. No matter how much I focus, I can't get it. But I'm thinking it's either a red, an amber, or a yellow. It's there, but I just can't get it, you know? Yeah. And then, I'm seeing it as a black thing that's turning like 1 to 5 miles an hour. Ask me what 1 to 5 miles an hour is when I was 12. That's like my mum driving dead slow like she does, to get what I mean. But
yeah.
You know what I mean? But as I'm older, I can say that it is that speed, 1 to 5 miles an hour. And it's turning. So it's upright. It's not flat. It's upright. And then what I think is I'm looking at black. And then it's then that I notice this big circle in centre. Big circle. Now, if I thought this thing were black on outside, this circle was so dense. How black it was. I didn't know whether it were a hole or the actual thing was flat, you know?
Right.
And when they brought out this colour, is it Fanta black or whatever that scientists brought that, the blackest of black out, that's when I thought, that's the only thing that I can say how dark it was, because it didn't give off any. So I've compared it with my eyes to the outside, which I thought was really black.
Yeah.
And it's making now that thing on, it's that black is this centre that is making the outside look slightly grey, even though it's black, you know? And it's just so weird. Yeah, I can't.
And all the time you've got this boomerang shape with an extra leg off it, a bit like Isle of Man.
But
and turning.
Yeah, but it's definitely the boomerang shape. It's not like a propeller shape at points.
Yeah.
It's definitely the boomerang. And it's then that I noticed that there's like a fan of light going onto water. So it's only a few feet off at water. So when one of these, like, I'll say blade, I don't know what it was, but I'll say blade just to make it simple, that it's only, so every time it turns, might be that much off at water, to get what I mean. So every time.
I'm glad you've said the water again, because I was going to come to that, because you said you could hear water. So before we go to the story, is there a pond there, or a lake, or a stream?
Now, I'm not sure. Well, there is, but I don't know whether it's that one, because I've tried looking for the path that takes me directly there. And like I said, these houses being built. Right. I mean, I was 12, so you
back in the day when you were 12, there's a stretch of water there anyway.
Yeah. I can't tell you because it's dark. So to me, it's just a thing of water. So I could say a lake, reservoir.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or whatever, but it's pretty big.
The fact that you referenced water earlier, and I couldn't get. We went then to object.
Yeah.
So, yeah, got it now. So this thing's over at water.
Yeah. So next minute, I'm seeing a fan of light come down. So it's like a torch beam comes directly down. This thing, it kind of fanned out. So it's only now. Only thing I can say to that is when this thing's turning, there've got to be something stationary at the back of it in order for this light to stay there, because the thing was still turning, so it's blocking out that light then every time it turns. So something has to be stationary at the back for that to stay, otherwise the light would go around with it.
Yeah.
And it stayed there. And all I'm saying, it's slightly, you know, when you put a pan on to start boiling, but you get that tiny little simmering first.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that, and there's a bit what looks like steam coming off it, but it's only very sporadic. Do you get what I mean? It's you can only just see it, you know. It's
so. What's your friend thinking at? Well,
I have no idea. I don't even think we're talking at this point, but she's still at that side of me, you know. And now I don't recall this light going out. I don't know whether it ever did go out. This white light, but on the water, it made a circular shape, so it's a cone shape. This light, yeah. So, so she's there. I'm like, next minute, it's like she swapped places, but she ain't gone in front of me, and she ain't gone at the back of me. It's just like switch, and she's at the left side of me.
And were you aware? Actually, I don't think you didn't see her move because you've just said that. But did you kind of just instantly become aware that she were at that side?
Yeah, but it didn't seem to. It didn't seem to kind of go into my brain. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I hadn't stood there and thought, hang on, what's she doing at that side? Because I'm too awestruck at looking at this thing that's in front of me. But I knew that she was there because I could see her in my peripheral. And next minute, click, she's there. And she ain't got in front, she ain't got it back. She's just there.
So what happened next?
Right, so next thing, I'm still looking at this thing, and then I've kind of everything seemed to slow. I mean, when I say slow right down, it's like and I've turned to my friend and I've gone like that. I remember doing it. I've gone like that and looked at her, and she's covered in blue light. And but it was if her face hadn't have give way, this blue light wouldn't have triggered me. If she'd have been stood there smiling, that blue light would have looked normal to me. I know it would. So, but because her face is like that, and it was like she was frozen.
Yeah.
But I think it was fear. You know what I mean? I don't think they'd actually gone like that. You're right. You know what I mean? It's then that it's like I've gone like that, looked at her up and down, and she's covered head to toe in this blue light, her face, everything. On the floor, it's not giving off any. The brightness of the light should have lit up the surrounding floor and the trees just beyond us and whatever were there, and it didn't. It just contained itself within her. It's then that I've kind of gone like that really slow and kind of looked at my own hands and turned up. And then look, and then it's like I become totally aware, and I've like fuck this, you know what I mean? I grabbed her with my right arm, grabbed her, and I remembered spinning. You know what I mean? Basically, run, get the F out of here. You know what I mean? And then it took a while to click that something wasn't bloody right, because that blue light wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
Really, it was more her face, but I think it's the more after that it slowly built up to me becoming aware that something wasn't right. It wasn't kind of instant. It kind of built up, and then it went instant. You know what I mean?
Obviously you managed to break her of this spell then, this blue light.
I don't know, because I was dragging her. I remember I was dragging her. So whether I was dragging her backwards or she turned round, I don't know, but I know she's kind of there. You know what I mean? It's just weird how it I'm too focusing running up this snicket. It's then I start feeling that I'm sinking into ground and things are going black. First time I've had this blackout thing, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm running and I'm getting slower and I'm sinking further and further down into ground. I'm at bottom at straight and I'm walking. None of that's just happened. It's like I haven't just landed there. I'm just walking, you know.
So you're just back, it's almost like everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
And you don't know how you've got from A to B, really.
Nope. So I'm walking on, and I hear kids playing outside. Now, I think some of them are from other streets as well. And because I know that there weren't that many kids on this street. So I think, you know, it might have been next street as well. And then there were the parents in doorways, and all my 12-year-old brain's thinking, oh, they're having a party. Like they told me they're having a party, you know? So I'm walking up, thinking, all right, I missed out here, you know what I mean? And then it was one of the kids that said, she's here, Paula's here. And then all kids started kind of, you know, and some of them, I remember some of them being on BMXs, because at the time, it's when E.T. came out, the film, and Elliot had a BMX, so kids ended up buying them. You know what I mean? Like they get them for Christmas or whatever. So a few of these kids had BMXs, and they were kind of screeching up to me, and then others had come running. Oh, you're in trouble, you're in trouble. So me thinking there's a party, I'm thinking, what am I in trouble for? I'm thinking it may be about, well, no, I wasn't thinking out really, but as I got older, I think it's got to be about 7:15. So I'm not late and kids are still out. You know what I mean? I didn't know that they were looking for me. So I walks up the street. As I'm walking up, I sees PC Milner, which was local Bobby, stood in my garden here, stood with my grandma at the doorway. So I'm walking up and I walks up past and kids are tormenting me. You know, say, you're in trouble. And I'm thinking, well, at 12, I'm thinking, what? I don't get it, you know. I'm upset because I'm thinking I'm getting in trouble, but I don't know what I've done. And so there's kids that stopped at bottom of there. And then I've tried walking past me. I just thought, probably in my head, oh, coppers talking to my grandma about something. They're just having a bit of a chinwag. So I tried going past my grandma. My grandma put her arm like that to stop me getting in. And then it was PC Milner that said, where have you been? And I wasn't going to say that I've gone to Woods. I wasn't going to say, you know what I mean? But at that moment, I still hadn't remembered what I've just seen. Right. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask.
No, I hadn't remembered. It's only then that it keeps goading me and saying, you've upset your grandma. Where have you been? I thought, if I tell my grandma I've been at Woods, so she'll never freaking let me out again. I'll be grounded for life, you know? Anyway, so especially Jodie was 3 miles away. So that was, you know what I mean? But the more the policeman were trying to question me,
the more came back.
The more upset I'm getting, and the more the kids are tormenting, going, you're in trouble, you know? So I'm really upset. It's then that it hit me, I thought, and someone saying, don't tell her. It's then when I remember the UFO, the blank bit from me sinking down into ground to landing at the bottom of the street to thinking there's a party. But where's my friend?
That's the next question.
Where's my friend? So anyway, eventually, my brain's saying that, no, I can't tell her where I've been. I went, I don't know. Where have you been? I don't know. Where? And I'm, and then Copper says, do you realise what time it is? So, I don't give a crap, really. I just think I'm going to prison for something that I don't know I've done. You know what I mean? And it's, 5 to midnight. And, well, 12-year-old 5 to midnight don't mean no. You know what I mean? I'm just so upset because I'm getting teased by this lot and getting told off for something. I thought, no, I'm not. I just thought I were getting into trouble at that point for going to woods. And
so how many hours between going at woods then? What time did you say?
I'd say if I were gonna, we've seen that light, we've seen the UFO. It's took us, what, 45 minutes to walk, half an hour, 45 minutes, because we're fast walkers anyway. I reckon it should have been about 8:15, 8:45 or something.
Yeah. So there's like 3 hours there that's gone astray, isn't there?
It's gone, yeah. So I goes in the yard. My grandma's eventually thought, oh God, she ain't giving in. But I think all my life my grandma knew anyway about the stuff because she's had stuff happen to her. And she's like, Paula's distraught here. Do you know what I mean? I know damn well that she'd give way. So she's put her arm down. I've gone straight upstairs. I thought I am not getting interrogated by my grandma or this copper anymore. Do you get what I mean? So I've gone upstairs, put blanket and pretended to be asleep. At some point, I know that I've fallen asleep because then morning comes. And I've gone then, I'm thinking that my grandma's going to give me, she's downstairs now, it's my grandma, so it's morning. She's going to really tell me off. She's going to say to me, where were you last night? We were all looking for you. Well, you know, I was waiting. I was expecting. I didn't get out of bed and I really wanted toilet. I thought, if she knows that I'm getting out of bed, the floorboard's going to creak.
She'll be out up and at you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I thought, no, it got critical by this point. I thought, I'm going to have an accident if I don't get out of this bed. So I goes in at bathroom, but I'm tiptoeing, but you're still looking floorboards. You know what I mean? So I thought, right, so I'm going to have to go downstairs. So I quickly got changed. I thought, if my mum, if my grandma starts questioning me, I'm just going to do a runner out at the door. You know what I mean? So anyway, I goes downstairs and I'm fully expecting. I thought, right, if she questions me, I'm just going to just run. You know what I mean? But, and then the first thing she said was, do you want a cup of tea, Paula? I thought, is this the build-up to the questions? You know what I mean? Yeah, go on then. Yeah, I'll have tea now, please. And I sat down. I thought, I'll quickly finish this. I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and nothing got said at all. And I said, I'm going to my friend. So I rings my friend up on the dial phone. It's actually there still got the old dial phone. And rings her up, can I meet you? Blah, blah, blah. So I met her up with her.
This is the friend that were with you that night?
Yeah. So I met up with her. I thought, I don't want to question her about this thing that we'd seen in woods. It's like as if I knew what I was supposed to say. I hadn't thought about what I was going to say, but I knew what I was supposed to say and what I wasn't supposed to say. You know? And at 12-year-old, your brain doesn't quite work like that. You know what I mean?
And what did she say? So
I said to her, what time did you get in last night? And she thought it might have been 10, even 9-ish, 9:10 or something. I said, do you remember how you got in? And she said she remembers walking just a little bit on the street. And then she remembers having, I said, what did you do when you got in? She says, I just remember walking on the street and just having a coffee stood in the house. I said, don't you remember how? No, all right, left it. But after that, as friendship started dwindling, it was really weird. So really weird.
So obviously you're going back quite a few years. You don't have to say how old you are, Paul. What I'm trying to say is, have you met this woman since and spoke about it?
No.
No desire to.
I knew by then there's something not right. She answered me like, well, about so the way that she answered, we're expecting the same answer as me. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But in my brain, something's saying to me, don't. I knew, like I said, I knew what to say and what not to say. So it was if somebody's put that there. Yeah. You say it this way. It's a bit like that, but it won't like that. You know what I mean?
Strange one, that's not going to be first and only time you've had an experience where you've seen a UFO. And strange thing you saw, really. Your description, bizarre, isn't it? You know, but
I'd say not like it sends.
Well, we're just about to top an hour here, and we'll ask Les if there's any questions shortly. But you've done with that account? I think you've exhausted that one, Paul, haven't you? So where do you want to go after? Where do you want to go with next? What?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll talk about the triangle.
Yeah, do
with
that.
My ex-boyfriend Psycho Cave.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
That's going to go over quite a lot out because we just haven't got time anyway.
No worries, Paula. That's going to go over hour, so I don't know whether Les wants to get out in now.
Yeah.
Before we start that, and are you good for that, Les?
Yes. Thank you, Paul and Paula. I've got some questions. I'm thinking when I can find them. There's a couple for you actually, Paul.
All right.
And dear. Let's have a look here. Just bear with me. Well, I did have, but
there's none for Paul. No, what is it? Right.
Right. No, I've got it. Right, we're back on stream. Yeah. Sony Warrior is asking. Last week, Paul was talking about recent sightings. Is he going to talk about them tonight?
Well, no, Tony, not in any great detail because I plan to do that with Don Lodge at some point in the next few weeks because it's Don that runs website and he'll put information on, and I know that he wants to get through a few of them. I will just touch on a few of them because I'm just keen to hear what Paul has got to tell us really. But Skirlington, I don't know what we've got, 15 miles from where I'm sat now. UFO sighting. I had a date for it and I haven't got it here, but basically the guy's laid on his sun lounger just looking at stars. No interest in UFOs, nothing. He's just enjoying night, probably having a beer. He's got at the side of him a dog, which is an elk hound. I'd never heard of elk hounds before he mentioned this. I've Googled them now. They're a formidable looking thing used for hunting elk. And he said elk. So he's laid there. He says the dog's fearless. He said it really is a fearless dog. 12 years old. He sort of knows its moods and everything. And suddenly ears prick up and it starts to growl. Looks at the dog, and then all of a sudden the dog whimpers, makes a few whimpering sounds, which is totally out of character, and runs inside, frightened. He can't understand that. And we'll do this brief because we'll do it in detail later. He said, as he's laid there, he said, suddenly 2 lights appear about 100 foot above and another 3 behind. And altogether, he estimates about 30 foot long. He said they're like an opaque light, a blue colour. And they're travelling that fast. He believes they travelled a mile in a matter of seconds. We have kind of estimated that it's going about 6,000 miles an hour if it's the time it's took for him to see this object that he's looking at. And he can only see lights. Kind of believes that it's one object, one solid object, because they're all moving in formation. There's nothing out of formation and they're evenly spaced. What's interesting, so dogs perceived this before it's appeared. It's passed across sky and gone towards golf course. I think it's at Far Grange. And seconds after it's disappeared, and it's a flat, calm, still night, dark night, lots of stars, suddenly the trees all just waft and blow. Like they're in its draft, yet it's totally silent. So that's an interesting sighting that we can probably go into a little bit more detail. We've got one from a police officer, well, retired police officer, Gareth Hawkins, have seen something strange at Bempton Cliff. So we'll go into that one in the next couple of weeks. Then we've got one from 1969 that's like Paula's sighting, really, and like things that have happened to me. It's stayed with this lady all her life. She believes that it's influenced part of her life, what she saw, and it's only a 20-second encounter. But let's move on. If there's questions for Paula, let's get some of them, Les. But sorry, Tony, but we will do that in the next few weeks, mate. Promise.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Tony. Lorraine Groves is asking, Paula, do you feel your experiences have isolated you?
Not now, but they did when I realised that other people, you know, when I started connected with other people in 2012, I felt more. They did pre-2012 because I didn't know about anything. I didn't know anybody in subjects. I didn't know. So I just felt like up to that, pre-2012, that I was still the only one that this weird stuff were happening to. Because I knew as I got older that it wasn't right. But after that, when I realised that there's other people going through it as well, it's then that I thought, I don't feel as isolated now, because I know it isn't just me.
Okay, thanks for that, Paul. I've got another one from Alison Buttle. Welcome to the show, Alison. Hey, Paula, can you talk about what your last experience was?
My last experience?
Right, that might take a while, that one then, Alison.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do it now or
it's up to you, Paul. If you want to go with it, go with
it. My last experience, was at Bay,
yeah,
which is Paul's ground. So I was with my friend Lynn, and we'd gone to stay in what we call chicken sheds, but we're also known as glamping pods. And I'm going to cut it brief, but
no, it's a shame, really, because it's an interesting story. Because take as long as you like.
It is long. So, but anyway, we'd gone to stay there. I think we stayed 5 nights so far. I don't know. Lynn had put me straight on that. But it wasn't the campsite. So we had like caravans, and then there's these like four of these glamping pods, and so the ones at each side of us are kept staying a night or two and then disappearing. Then it'd be empty a couple of days, and then another one night or whatever. And so we've got behind our glamping pod is basically right behind it is a hedgerow and a path kind of in between glamping pad and the hedgerow. So right behind the hedgerow, sometimes a farmer puts his cows. So the build up to it is it's like a couple of days into it. There's strange little things like orbs that come into it. And now I don't remember whether the orb was that night when the scene played out or a night before. Well, I don't remember stuff like that. But like I said, there's an edge there. Then there's like 30-yard walk, and where the edge meets a bit of a few trees, what I call a bit of woods, you know. So from my perspective, it kind of comes to a point like that. So you can see just a slight bit of field behind. And me and my friend were looking out. We'll go out for a cigarette outside pod, and we have like a little fenced off bit to ourselves. It's pitch black. So the only light that you're getting is if you put the light on outside at pod, and then it were really dull anyway. Everybody had gone to sleep. I'd say it were about 12:30. And she were messing about with this, so she couldn't get a cigarette. And I was getting annoyed because she kept asking to use my lighter. So it's then that I kind of kept passing it backwards and forwards because we were looking that way more than out. So if you look that way. So if you look kind of that way, there's Benton side. So opposite end then is Ummanby village. So then I've turned round then to give her a bit of a doing for using the light. I go backwards and forwards this light. I got really mad. So I've turned round. But as I've turned round, ready to take the lighter off her, I've clocked this thing in my eye line, which, so where I said, 30 yards or feet away, so it ended at edge and then little woods there. So from me, it looks like it's kind of that shape. What looks like a globe, but because the edge and the trees are kind of blocking it, it looks like half a globe. So I'd say an arc shape. And I'm seeing it as orange. I can't say what sort of orange it is. I'm just seeing that this thing is huge. You know what I mean? It's because it's 30 yards or feet away. You know, I know damn well in a light off a tractor. I know there's no noise. There's not going on. And that this glow, this massive thing, and it looks like it's kind of a moving in pixelated in center.
They look like lava.
No. I've seen that sort of it where it kind of, it were like, you know, when you can't tune the TV in and it kind of does it with that. Now that's what I'm seeing. Lynn's seeing it a different way. She doesn't see orange. I think she sees that. She says she sees that it's a whitey cream colour, but we're still seeing the same thing. But she's got night blindness anyway, so whether that affects the sight, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I don't know how it works because I ain't got it. But I said,
and you're silent.
What's that?
Silent.
You know what I mean? And she's finishing, and she's got, oh, you know what I mean?
And are we silent? Is it completely silent?
It's silent, yeah. At this moment, yeah. Now, I'm saying it is, but I'm bringing in a cow that's screaming. Because there's cows in the field at edge at back of us. So whether that was screaming all along, I'm not sure. Because I'm too focused on this orange globe. You know? So it's then we just couldn't. I didn't even think, Paula, get your binoculars, Paula, get your phone, Paula. We're just focusing on this thing, trying to work out what it is. So we knew it wasn't moon, because moon were at that side. You know, I remember going like that, and it was a tiny thing in the sky, and this thing was huge. Then it would kind of, it'd stay still for, could it be a few seconds? I don't know how long time went on for. And then it'd strobe really fast. And then it's like it switch off, so you couldn't see it at all. And then it'd come back on and stay solid. And then it'd flash again, strobe. But there were no sequence to it. It was like random, you know what I mean? And then it went off. I just remember it going off. Look, it's gone. It's like somebody flicked a switch, but at the same time, it's got us out of that trance state of looking at it.
Yeah.
And I then saw it. I don't know whether Lynn saw it move. I don't know. But my perspective is it's gone up, but it's not a round shape. I know what I've seen is where I'm looking over edge, but it's come inwards. So it's like as if it's come over the field of the cows, not at the edge now, it's moved in. And it's like, there's nothing there. I can't see any solid form, but this orange light, the same orange, has gone like this at random. And then I'm like, and I'm thinking, where's it gone? I can't see how. There's no structure, nothing. And then it's like as if it's skipped and it's further towards us. So it's gone again. But it's really, when it lights up, that is kind of an oblong shape. But
and then it's in a different part of the sky when it's
Moved.
Yeah.
But you can't see it moving. The light hasn't moved.
No.
You know what I mean? It's
It's in a different part of the sky before the light's gone off.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's just like I don't get it. I don't. We'd had a thunderstorm. Fair enough. People can say, right, you've had a thunderstorm. That were earlier in the day. That were like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're now looking at a sky which is mainly stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There might be odd few tufts of clouds, but it's mainly stars. So we're no difference. You know what I mean? There's no lightning. There's no sound. Except then, it's when some point at that time, I can't say exactly when, I've noticed a cow screaming. And when I spoke about it on Chris's show, and it really upset me because I hadn't talked about it fully. And it's scream and it's continuous, and it's not taking a breath. And it's one cow out of maybe 10.
Mm.
And I don't know whether I am saying is there a connection. I'm not saying that at all. But it's such a coincidence that you've got this going on and this cow screaming. And it's moved again. So it's gone. Every time it moves, it goes like the movement's made. There I am. You know what I mean? But now, looking at it, it's probably 30 foot off at ground. Very close. It's over the other side of the edge. But it's too close for comfort.
Yeah.
And Lynn has said something like, look, I'm going in. I'm getting a bit scared now, you know what I mean? It's not like Lynn to be like that.
No.
But she's opened door now. We were scared at these. I think there were either big giant midges or horseflies, I don't know, but they kept coming in and annoying us, you know, at long legs and they flutter about. And I was like, quick shut door sort of thing. But that did, at this time, that did not bother me because it's constantly screaming. She's going in. I took one because I'm about to go in with her, and I glanced one more time. And now, if I had glanced in that exact, I would not have seen this beam come down because it was so thin. It was like that angle coming down. So it was just coming down. You could see through it. It were orange, but it were really, really, really faint. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I hadn't looked at that exact moment, at that exact place, I wouldn't have seen it. You know, and still, it only split second gone, but it still continued to scream, this cow, and it just went on and on and on. And I had to, the only thing that I could do was then sit on the bed. I got me, because there was not much to do in there. It's not like we had a TV in there at all. And we bought some colouring pens and, you know, them a little adult colouring books, you know what I mean? Right, fine detail. And I'm focusing on that to get my focus away from this screaming cow. You know what I mean? I don't know how long after that this cow continued. It were awful. It were really, really bad.
How many other people were on camp?
Not many.
I was wondering, did nobody else come out?
No.
No.
Nothing. No one. So the next day, I don't remember going to sleep. I don't know whether Lynn remembers going to sleep. I don't ever remember saying, right, I'm putting colouring book down. I'm going to sleep. I don't even remember cow stopping screaming. But all I remember from then is I'm waking up the next morning and it's the subject.
Yeah.
What the hell was that orange light? You know what I mean? So it's then she's said, I'm going to have a word with, and I'm like, no, you know what I mean?
Farmer.
Don't say out to anyone. So if you think this story sounds stupid, some people think they're right, you know what I mean? But then she goes and asks the caretaker's wife, and she said, "Oh, did you see out last night? We saw this out." Oh, caretakers like, "Oh, it'll have been some people in field behind having a party." What? And they call us stupid, and you're seeing things and that. What, having a party when silence with a screaming cow, no music, no people, and a big orange globe that get if ours want logic, that definitely her answer is not logic.
It's not logic. And obviously I didn't see what you and Lynn saw, so I can't sort of join that conversation.
Yeah.
But I do know that behind there, because I know exactly where you saw it. I know farm.
Yeah.
But there's nobody going to have a party in them fields. They're just fields for grazing cattle.
Exactly.
There's nobody.
And even if they did have a party, at least you'd hear voices or a bit of music.
They wouldn't be doing it.
Or nothing, and a screaming cow. If anything, it's going to be satanic if you're going to get crap like that, not a party.
You still wouldn't do it there. But, you know, because you're high up where you were there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what's interesting, and there's no connection, but where you were, other side of the road, half a mile down is where everything happened in that factory unit. Do you know? Literally half a mile away. Obviously, that was 1998, but it's interesting. It's in the zone of strangeness kind of thing.
It's then that, so we've got up, like I said, we've done as, you know, they've gone to say, right, we'll go to the beach this morning. We'll figure it out later what's going on. You know what I mean? Let's get day out at where, you know what I mean? Get some sunshine, get to the beach. It's still on his minds, obviously. It's not going to go away. So I said, when we come back, I'm going to look through the hedgerow. You know what I mean? See, cows are still, have we imagined it? No, we haven't, have we, El? So we've come back and it's about tea time. So where the hedgerow's growing up, you don't get leaves at bottom, do you? You get them maybe that far up. So twigs. You know what I mean? So I've looked through and all I could see was one cow on the floor, laid out with, now I'm probably looking at legs when I say about 20 cows. So I'm looking at legs, I know that. But, you know, she's saying, I know it's probably about 10 cows because I'm looking at it from ground level, so at the leg level. But I know that they're all circling. This cow that's on the floor, they've left a few gaps between each cow. Each cow's left a gap. And they're all looking down at this cow in this perfect circle that they've made round it. And I went, look, I don't know whether it's dead. I don't know whether it's injured. I don't know whether it's taken a sleep. But that, to me, says it's all connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of we just left it at that then because we knew we'd get ridiculed if we asked. I mean, silly woman, you know, caretaker. They're having a part. You know what I mean? So if they're going to come out with rubbish like that, then other people are going to come out.
It's a pity you didn't try and get a few pictures of...
Do you know, I didn't think, but it's forever imprinted in my brain. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So, Les, have we more questions? I bet Alison wish she'd never asked that. That were 18 minutes, that. It's all good, I'm joking.
Yeah, thank you, Paula. And just a little bit of housekeeping here from Paul. Can you tell people about the Truth Proof website and what they can do when they get there?
Yeah, just like Paula's citing, anybody that's got anything that they want us to report or put on website, just fire it at truthproof.uk, and between myself and Don Lodge, we'll get it onto the website. And the books are for sale on website, Kindles are for sale on Amazon, and yeah, just read reviews first. I'm not bothered if you buy a book or you don't, and I don't mean that in any rude or derogatory way, but I think they speak for themselves. So yeah, all good, thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. I've got a question from Nickname. Has Paula spoke about the light following her in the car yet?
I saw that. I wrote it down actually because it weren't in caps, were it? Yep.
No, we haven't done
over
that
to you,
yet.
Paula. You might not want to speak about it.
Which light in car? Which one are you on about?
It's not me.
I don't know. That's just
a
a question from
Has Paula spoke about the light that followed her in the car?
Oh, we're on about Lake District. Ask her if she's on about the Lake District.
Well, let's assume that she were, and we can... I tell you what, move to another question, Les, and then if we see which light in
if
the
it's
car
the one in the Lake District, then yeah. But
yeah, okay, yeah. Anthony Hudson is more of a statement, really. You must have thought you were going mad, Paula, before finding the help.
As I got older, I did, yeah, because it's that in between stage, 14, 15, 16. And I thought, am I schizophrenic? Or, you know what I mean? Because it's like I said, there's only your local library and you don't get people, only books that were in there were about Roswell, which I'm like, what the hell's Roswell? Or Betting and Barney, what the hell's that? You know what I mean? So with anyone in England who, so there's no Google then. So yeah, I thought at one point in my teens, yeah, I'm going mad here.
Did it make you feel better when you started speaking to other people who had experience?
Yeah, it took me a while though. It took me a while. My first person was Sasha that I spoke to in 2012. We've been mates ever since. So because was going through something similar, it took me years to kind of realise that I've been hurt by more humans than what Greys have ever done to me. That I have been hurt by Greys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I recover by thinking that way.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that, Paula. Anthony Hudson has got a follow-on question. You must have, Paula, have you ever thought about regression?
Yeah. I can't afford it. But yeah, I would do if I could afford it. Yeah.
I wonder if there's anybody trained who, I don't mean does it for nothing, but does it for a minimal fee because they've got a passion for subject.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And wanting to get to the truth. Maybe pick some things out.
I couldn't afford that. No way.
No. I don't even know.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Okay, I've got a question from One Day in December. Ask Paula if she feels she unwilling projects phenomenon. I don't know what that question means. One Day in December.
Ask Paula what?
Ask Paula if she feels she unwilling projects phenomena. I don't understand the question.
Unwillingly projects the phenomena or evokes the phenomena it may mean.
Oh, no, I have no idea. I don't know whether it's me that meant, unconsciously thinks about it and it happens, or it happens. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
£500 a session, somebody's saying. For the
wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to keep playing cash register on Pulse Radio.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never won yet. Right, nickname is asking, was the light strobing the cow?
I don't know because I couldn't see cows.
I know you said you never saw that, yeah.
Because of age, but I'm assuming it. Now, I am saying it's 100% because I don't know what facts about, but I'm damn certain it's connected with the cow and this light and that were going on. It's got to be.
It's interesting, isn't it, that the lights that you're seeing, I mean, I know Lynn saw it as a different colour, a creamy white colour.
I think she said, I don't know, she might
orange. Primarily it's orange over at sea, it's orange over at Wolds, it's orange white, that's interesting in itself. But
you see, that it ain't just the orange. I've seen them in Filey as well.
Yeah.
And when I was with Psycho X, I've seen 3 of them on the school field on here, where they opened up like a donut, and it was like pulsing. And every time it pulsed, the centre hole of this orange got bigger and bigger, and a grey stepped through it.
This is in Bradford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on road over here. Yeah.
Okay, we might do that.
It's not it's not a.
Alison, yeah, sorry, Paula, go on.
It's all over. It happens all over, yeah.
Yeah, it's not kind of just in one area,
Yeah.
Alison Butler is asking, well, she's not asking, she's making a statement, she's saying, thank you, Paula, what an experience.
Thank you, Alison.
Thank you, Alison. Yes, for asking that 18-minute question. Yeah, go on. He knows I'm joking.
Okay. Nickname, was it a light then a grey chasing? Was it a light than a grey chasing? I don't quite understand
Which one
that
are we on
one.
about?
I think
I'm still thinking Lake District one.
Well, let's just go with the Lake District, Paula, and tell us about this. And then if
I need to know if that's what they're on about, because
yeah, but you know,
it's only one I can think of. But then I've had that many, I can't.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, the Lake District one. So I used to go hiking a lot and camping in Lake District. I used to do alt fell walking and alt mountains, and I'd gone camping with one of my mates, male mates, and we'd go out. So we'd set up tent, everything, and we'd go for a driving night to watch stars, because when you go to Lake District, the sky is that clear that it feels like the sky is lower down than what it is, because you see it's just star, 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 star. Every centimetre there's a star, so it feels a bit claustrophobic. So we'd kind of parked up, because between these two mountains, we're on what do they call it, pass, the road, Kirkstone Pass. So we're on that road. So where these two mountains meet, but they're not meeting like that, they're different things. There's the moon. So I'm like, oh, you can see moon, and because it were only partial, you could still see the other outside of it, because it was that clear. So I'm like, out with binoculars. So we parked up at this side. So there's a fence there. It wasn't an high fence. If I stood up now, it probably come to my waist. You know what I mean? And it were wooden. And I think some of it was kind of rotten and fallen a bit. So I know there's definitely there. And then there's a drop, bit of a banking with a little bit of a stream running through. And further down, wall starts, and off you go down to campsite. And as I'm looking through binoculars, he's sat at that side looking at binoculars out at window. So he's like that, doubling back on himself, looking up. So I'm looking at the moon that way. And as I'm kind of looking, oh, wait a minute, he slowed, see you, because I forgot about the orange globe, orangey red globe. Now, I can't remember which order it's in now, because it's one of them that I don't talk about all the time.
Well, let's assume that it for our audience, if you've got the order wrong and you've spoke about it before, nobody's going to jump on you for it, Paul.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. But it's like me that it gets a bit annoyed, because I talk about the same stuff. So then the ones that I don't talk about, I rarely talk about.
Yeah,
it's like, what? You know what I mean? But as we're going down this road, so I'm going to kind of splice it there. We're coming down Kirkstone Pass, and as we're coming down, at certain stages, the wall's ice, so it's higher than the car.
Yeah.
But I'm always using mirrors. And as I'm using mirrors, thinking, oh, there's a man on a motorbike coming down. But in my brain, I'm not thinking like, this is impossible because it's above the wall. It won't show car headlights because of the wall with the high at this point.
Yeah.
So the light is above, but my logic, I'm thinking it's a motorbike or someone on a bicycle going backwards, and it's real light on, but it's going backwards.
And this is orange.
Orangey red, like a crimsony colour, but a bit orangey. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it were big, and so your logic takes over, which makes no sense whatsoever, because it's actually above the wall and not below it. But in my eyes, it's either a motorbike or a bicycle, and he's jibber jabbering away, and we're going down a bit, and it's bobbing. following contour at road. And I'm looking in this, and then it kind of looks behind me. And I know that it in a normal thing that I'm looking at, but yet I'm still trying to seek logic. You know what I mean? And it says to me, mate, what's that light? You know what I mean? I don't know.
What did they say?
It's just like, I don't know. But with still logic kicks in, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Is it a motorbike? Someone going backwards. It's definitely someone going backwards with the rear light on. Which is stupid, you know what I mean? So it's then when we've parked up somewhere between the two mountains that join. No, don't join because of the distance, but it looks like they're joining in dark. And I'm watching the moon through the binoculars, and he's out the window going like this. Then it's like through my binoculars there, and I kind of put them down, and I was looking straight forward. I don't know what I was looking at. There were not to look at straight forward. It's like as if I were in autopilot, put it down. And I'm looking, but in my peripheral, he's doing the exact same thing. So did he move in, stop looking what he was looking at his side, and we both sat there like that looking straight forward. It's then, I don't know how long we're doing that for, I only become aware of it when I kind of turned my head like that because something had caught my eye. My window was fully down and something had caught my eye in my peripheral. So we're both looking straight forward, but then I see this thing where little quarter light is. And I thought we were moving. At first, I thought the car was going forward.
The light were moving.
This thing's coming back, coming that way. So you've got to remember what the distance between car and this fence is only about a foot. You know what I mean? And I thought, oh, we're moving. So I kind of, and then I realised, shit, no, we're not moving. You know, everything's like confusing.
Yeah.
So then it was like, I look again. And this pole, what I think is a grey pole, because I'm looking out of a window. So whatever it is moving. It looks like a pole to me. If you think about it, it's side on. It's walking, so I'm just getting its torso. Probably just getting its torso and arm. You know what I mean? But point, it's a pole that's walking. Not anything else. It's moving. It's definitely not us that's moving because I've just looked forward. But then I'm like, I would a bit like, hey, it's all confusion. I did which way to look. I'm like, well, it's just weird. And then it's like, I looked at the mirror. Remember in the windows down, so I looked right at the mirror. And what I saw was not a fucking pole. It was a tall, and it was more gangly than the normal grey alien, and it would seem more muscular. It's then, and I don't know how long I was focused. It was stood right behind, to the side behind the car or van, whichever one we were driving at that time. It's there. So it's only a few feet away there. And it's like as if it knows that I'm looking at the mirror, watching him. So is it looking at me in the mirror, watching it? You know what I mean?
But there's a knowing in your mind. It knows. It knows.
It knows. It's then that I turn around and I scream at him. I went, but because I couldn't get my words out, I didn't.
Try not to swear.
There was so much I wanted to say.
Yeah.
That moment, it was kind of one big stutter. And I went, fucking move. Like this, you know what I mean? Move. Yeah. And I was banging thing, because he was like, what? You know what I mean? What? And I'm like, fucking move. And I remember I was hitting him, you know what I mean?
And did you move?
It turned engine, but because it didn't start up first time, and that ain't because of that thing there, you know. It's because I were making him panic then. Panic's just kicked in because he knows then there's something seriously wrong. It's then that it's turned key and it won't fire up. And I'm screaming. But all this stuff's coming out of my mouth that don't make sense. You know what I mean? Because I'm wanting to say so much all at once that it's just nonsense that's coming out. And I'm still banging on thing. And it turns the key again and it starts up. And I'm screaming, put your fucking foot down. And it's going, what the hell's up with you? By this point, we're just screaming at each other because I'm screaming at him to put foot down. He's screaming at me, trying to say, what the fucking hell's up with you? You know what I mean? And I said, put it, you know, it's just sallying along this country lane, you know what I mean? And I'm like, by now, I've pulled, do you know the mirror that you have, passenger mirror there? And I pulled it down because he's using that mirror, his own mirror, to look back. And I've gone like that, length to one side. And this grey is running right at the back of us. Well, but as we're moving, it's keeping up at some point. But as he's put his foot down, it seems to be not being able to catch up as much. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. I don't know how far we've travelled, but I remember pulling in to the car park of the campsite, which were like 2 miles away, I'd say.
And you'd lost it.
There's no houses, there's nothing. It's Kirkstone Pass, so if you want to look it up, you'd see.
Yeah.
And it's downhill then. So all I remember then is whether I've kind of had this blackout because I'm in blind panic or I've been abducted. I don't know. I'm not surmising, but I think me personally, I think it was blind panic that set in and my brain shut off. And all I remember then is 2 mile down road, we're pulling in at car park and I get out of the vehicle and all I am concerned about is that I cannot find my bag for the binoculars. I know damn well that there was in the footwell. I always kept them in the footwell. Don't matter who's, if I take my binoculars out, don't matter where we're going, who I'm with, the binoculars, the bag is in the footwell with the caps in the bag, right? So I'm methodical like that. So we gets in the car park. I looks under the car. I'm on my hands and knees looking for this. And I think I'm so focused on looking for this binocular bag to distract me from what's just gone on, you know? And I'm shouting at my guy, you fucking lost them. I've just gone into a fucking mad rage. You know, it would just, then it's just anger. Somebody's got that binocular bag and I want to know. Anyway, eventually he calmed me down. And he said, stop shouting and stop taking it out on me. And yeah, I did see what was coming down. But he saw this kind of a mass, because he's trying to look at the road and watch the mirror at the same time. We've got windy roads going on here, so it's quick look, turn away, face forward. Do you know what I mean? So he's seen thing behind us running after us, this grey, tall thing, but he couldn't describe what it's like because he's focusing. So getting back to this binocular thing, he's calmed me down in car park. And I couldn't go to sleep for ages. I was like, no, this binocular bag's on my brain. Not the thing that's just happened. That's distraction tactics with my own brain, that. And next day when I woke up, I'm still looking for this binocular bag because we'd slept in. We haven't got a tent up by this. But it's like I'm looking under mattress. I'm just
so
everywhere. Coat pockets, clothes.
So where was it?
It wasn't. I never found it.
All right. I wish you.
I never found it, and I laughed eventually, all night of anger, I laughed and I says, I wondered if it were chasing us to bring me binocular back.
You've got the roof. Yeah, you never know, do you? I have to laugh because Sky says she likes that Paula swears. And as everybody knows, I never swear, ever.
Oh, my God, shy.
But Paula's broke the record for swearing more in live stream than anybody. So that's good. But no, have we any more questions, Les? Because it's all good.
Wow, I'm just getting over that. Yeah, so let's see
Paula's
where
rage.
we are. Paula's rage,
And
yeah.
that binocular bag.
You see, if we haven't got any more questions, or you want to end with a few, I want to know about 2021, seeing the Reptilian.
Reptilian, my first ever Reptilian.
Are we good with that, Liz? Yeah.
Yeah, go with that. But I do have a couple of questions for near the end.
Right, so remember, Paula, and give us 5 minutes at end, because we're 20 to now. So
yeah. All right. So pre-2021, I'd sound a bit of a hypocrite, but I'd say I did not believe in reptilians. Coming from a person who sees greys and UFOs, it's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? Mm. So I'm like, I've got to see it to believe it. You know what I mean? I'm still like that now. And I'm still thinking about the Reptilian because I've only seen it once. I want to see it again just to give me that proof. You know what I mean? Even though I know it happened, I'd want it to happen again just to verify it's there, it's real. So I'd gone to bed. And I remember I took a cup of coffee up with me. And this was, I can't remember what month it was. Anyway, it was 2021. So, beginning of last year. It's really, I don't know. So, anyway, brought this cup of coffee up with me. And I turned all lights out downstairs. And I never turned my landing light on because if you don't like me, you have that gap there. I've got to see something in the room. I can't have total darkness. So all I remember then is I'm back downstairs again. I don't remember going downstairs. I never went to sleep. I just had my coffee in my hand. Next minute, I'm downstairs again. Coffee's not in my hand. I'm in darkness in my own front room and I wasn't scared. Now, normally if I do that, I'd be like switch light and somebody's chasing me upstairs, you know what I mean? But no, I wasn't scared. And I knew automatically I had to go to my front door. And I opened the door up and it's just like me talking to you now. It's that clear. It's no dream state. I'm not drugged up. I'm not, some of the encounters are like that. It's so, ugh. But this is just as it is now as I'm talking to you. And I've gone to the door and I knew to unlock it. And it's right still, lovely clear night. And I heard some people talking at top of the street. And there were 5. When I've looked up, these 5 men. So 4 are stood together, but they're talking very quietly. 4 are stood together and they're leaning against the wall at the cottages at top of the street. And 1 is stood separate. So it's like the big wall of the big house. So there's, a couple of meters between each one. So they're talking amongst themselves and there's this one stood on his own. But during, while I'm looking, in my peripheral, I'm seeing movement in next door's garden. Now he has this, he's cut it down now, which I'm really annoyed about because he's made a right bodge job of it. But he's cut this frigging tree down. But the tree was there, it was lovely, it was, bushed out a bit. But where the gap is, there's a kind of gap there, a gap there. I could see movement in my peripheral, and whatever it is, were bulky and tall, but it didn't bother me. So I've kind of gone and looked down the street. It's like as if when something's right in front of your face and you can't see it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I scanned the street like that. I've gone straight past this thing that stood at the other side of my wall in garden, and I've looked at these men and I've gone back down again. It's gone straight. You know what I mean? It's there. And I've just
Yeah.
And it's moving about.
Did you go back to it?
Well, yeah, scanned again. But then there were 5 of these blokes, the one that was stood on his own, because the 4 was still kind of whispering between them. Don't make me think that there wasn't human. Someone says to me, these are not who I think they are. And they looked a bit Chinese-y. And we've no Chinese round here except the takeaway, but they live, there's no reason to be up here. They live elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't think much of it. This isn't ultra long, but I've got to describe what I'm seeing, so it does take longer. It's then that one of the one on his own shouted, and I knew it were directed at me because he had no reason to say it out loud if he were saying it to them. You know what I mean? And he either said, "Lights going out," or "Lights gone out," right? And I'm like, no, they aren't. We're split second, you know what? No, they aren't. There's a street light there, and there's one there that he stood right under. It's then everything's gone out. Everything is in darkness. The entire street is in darkness. So that's what me thinks, hang on, right? It's then I feel like somebody is lightly touching my arm and guiding me into my room. Because my front door goes straight into my front room. Except you've got to kind of walk around edge of the sofa. So anybody that knows has been to my house knows what layout is. So you've got to go. But somebody's guiding me really gently in the middle of my rug. And my sofa's like a foot away from me. And I'm facing, not the outside, looking into my room. I'm actually facing my wall where my sofa is. And I knew exactly that I had to look up like that. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I knew that I had to look up. And they realised then that I've got this really pale white light around me. Really pale. And even though I'm focusing on that, I can still see this light around me. It's not bright, but it's not dark, but the outside of this light is very dark, because don't forget I'm in my front room and there's no lights on, so the further away the light is, the darker it is. You know what I mean? The corners of the room pitch black, except this round light that I mean, which could have fit 3 people in with elbow distance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't frightened at all. Do you know what? Nothing was going on in my brain. No, was saying, what's this like? What am I studying for? Why is this thing just brought me in? What? Nothing. Empty. Total empty. I've never had a feeling like it, and I've never had it since. Empty. No emotion. Nothing. It's like clean slate. You know what I mean? And it's then that as I'm looking up, this thing that looked like it could have been 7-8 foot tall, it'd have had to, it would either stood on my sofa or it's blended into the sofa. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Like another dimension, right? So it's either that one or other. And it kind of comes from the darkness into the light, and it leans right down and looks at me nose to nose. And all I'm seeing at this moment is 2 round eyes, because it's looking down. So you've got to remember that the light is coming down. It's not coming from the ground up. Yeah. So I'm not seeing any pupils or like that. I'm just seeing eyes, dark eyes, and dark round here. And it's then I'm the eyesight isn't that good anyway, but it's like, okay, it's practically nose to nose with me. And what I'm looking at now is I'm kind of working my way around this face, thinking that ain't normal. But it still didn't faze me. That's not normal. It looks like a crocodile. And then I saw its teeth. And they were like cars, but they were very yellow. But it's like, mainly back ones were more pointed than the front ones. You know what I mean? Even though a couple of them very human, probably front two there, bottom, look like our teeth, but the rest were all sharp and pointy and yellow. Now I'm not really yellow, but I'm not sure whether that's because of the light coming down, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it had a short snout. So where do you think of a crocodile having this long?
So,
it would a short snout like that.
Still no fear?
Nothing is going on whatsoever in there. Nothing. No emotion, no fear. There's nothing. And it's just staring at me nose to nose. I don't know what to feel now because I didn't have any feeling then. So how can I be scared of something that I wasn't scared of them, because it'd trigger a memory? Oh God, yeah, I was scared of that. Well, that didn't happen. So I don't know what to feel now if I didn't know that I didn't have no emotion then.
Yeah.
And it kind of, the skin, it was like purpley greeny, browny, but the way that I ain't saying it's shimmering, but if I moved my head slightly like that, just the whole sheen of it had changed. Like when you get diesel on floor.
It's like a bit of magnetism or something, isn't it? You know, some kind of flux of change there, isn't there? You know? Yeah. Now, I
can't say whether it had scales. I don't know, because I'm just focusing teeth, the eyes, and the way that the colouring. Now and again, it might have a pink or yellow tinge, but it depends. If I only had to slightly move my eyes, the entire colour had kind of
change.
Yeah.
That's chameleon-like. Paula, we've got 8 minutes left, and continue with this for a few minutes if you want, but we'll let.
No, it's done, because I don't remember what else about that.
Just the facts, and I'll just get this in quickly. Last week, people didn't get the questions asked. It's not Les's fault. It's not Sky's fault. It's just how things pan out. And some of Paula's questions have lasted, I don't know, 2 minutes, and some have lasted 20 minutes. So if you haven't had your question asked, I do apologise, but we'll try and last 8 minutes now. Get a few more in. Come on, Les.
Yes, thank you, Paul. Stargazer Eternal 1 is asking, Paula, have you come to any conclusions about the Greys themselves?
I think of all sorts, and I think of the breed, of the to take as resources. I've gone through what everybody else has gone through, but I can't make an assumption. I don't know. I'm going to stand there, and to this day, I will say I do not know until they tell me, and then they might deceive me if they do tell me.
And I like that answer, because there's too many people just actually think that they know everything.
Yeah, and I don't know it.
That kind of tells you're getting truth. Go on, Les.
Yes, well, that's it. And a question from me, really, Paula, is why do you think it's you that's been kind of honed in on, for a better phrase, or singled out?
Not singled out. There's millions of us.
You don't think it's, yeah?
We're not special. We're not gifted. It's not something you want to be a part of for a start, because, you know, all these times, as much as I said when I were, you know, a few years back, when I don't see them, I miss them. But when I miss them, I don't want them there. You know what I mean? But because I've grown up with them, but I'm not special, and I'm not different, and I'm not gifted. It's just there's millions of us that are going through it. Some can't speak out because of cultural differences. Some can't speak out because they think it, you know, they're going to get laughed at. But really, I don't care what people think of me. But yeah, so I that's it.
And okay, thanks for that, Paula. You know, you're honest and down to earth with it all, really, aren't you?
I try to be.
Good way to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a question for you, Paul. Actually, to do with Paula's story about the cows and the glowing orb in the field. If Paul knows where the field is, why can't you ask the farmer about it? Is the question that's come from
right,
Ultrafat.
That's come from
that, I did a film in there for Japan TV. The farmer was involved, but because I'm not really allowed to talk about it until this film's actually done.
All I could do probably is I know a farmer who's very close to that farm, and I can make some inquiries. I have been asked by someone, not Paula, to have a look into it, and I haven't done yet, and I will do. That's all I can say. I will. Well,
brilliant.
Are we done with questions?
I think we're nearly done. Somebody's, I can't see the name on here, but somebody's asking if you would come on again, Paula.
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I ain't had to say whatever because Paula's good. She just, you know what I mean? So.
That's the will if Paul will have me on.
Yeah. It's all good. We just, well, I've got like, I don't know. I haven't used these questions. We talked about the visor, you know.
There's lots in there. That's
I haven't used them because, you know, what you do, Paula, is you go into a lot of detail. And some people might be, or just wanting to get to meet at story, might be thinking, oh, come on, well, let's just tell it's good. Because I think, and I hope that people who listen to this, who've listened tonight and who'll listen to it in future can realise that you're actually going through that experience.
I have to relive it.
We can see you going through it. And I mean, I don't know, the cow, it could have just wanted, it could have been calving. We don't know what.
We don't know.
You know what I mean? We just don't know. We'll make some.
I can't surmise that I do, but there's a very much of too much coincidence going on in that.
Coincidence, and I like the fact that where it was, it literally, I don't even think it's half a mile away from industrial unit, to be honest with you. And not that there's any connection apart from you're in that zone of strangeness. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I don't need to ask you anything else, Paula. You know, I can say thank you very much, and we can wind it up now, Les, if there's no questions in.
Yes, I've got to say thank you to you, Paul, and thank you to Paula especially. And yes, I'm sure we could rig up another show, Paul, with
I'd love to, yeah. Thank you, Paula.
Right, just leaves me to wind up the show. So I've got to say thank you very much, everybody, for joining the show tonight. Everybody in the live stream who's put the questions forward. Now, I am sorry if I might have skipped over one or two. There was a little bit, some were questions and some weren't questions, if you can bear with me on that one. So, on that note, I've got to thank Lee Roscoe for the super chat tonight. Thank you, Lee, immensely. That's going to help us, I'm sure. And I've got to thank all you for joining us on this stream tonight. So from Les, me, Digital Creations, from Paul and Paula, it's a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.